In the first of two rapid-fire launches, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket blasted off from California and lifted 10 Iridium-Next telephone relay stations into space early Monday, the California rocket builder's 14th launch so far this year and its third for the satellite telephone operator. In what has become a routine, if still exciting milestone, the first stage of the Falcon 9 booster executed an automated return to Earth, landing with pinpoint precision on an offshore drone ship to chalk up SpaceX's 17th successful recovery in 22 attempts. But the landing was, as always, a secondary objective. The primary goal of the mission was to launch the third set of 10 Iridium-Next spacecraft under contracts with the satellite telephone provider to deploy 75 of the 81 relay stations being built to replace the company's current fleet of aging first-generation spacecraft. Iridium's customers rely on 66 satellites operating in 6 orbital planes to make and receive calls anywhere in the world. The company's original Block 1 satellites are being replaced by 66 Iridium-Next spacecraft. Nine more will serve as in-orbit spares, and another 6 will be held on the ground for launch as needed. SpaceX launched the first 10 Iridium-Next satellites from Vandenberg on Jan. 14. A second batch of 10 satellites was launched June 25. SpaceX plans to launch the fourth set in late November. With a successful launch Monday, SpaceX will turn its attention to preparing another Falcon 9, this one featuring a previously flown first stage, for launch from the Kennedy Space Center Wednesday evening to boost an SES/EchoStar communications satellite into orbit. This week marks the second time this year SpaceX has attempted to launch 2 missions within 3 days. Monday's flight got underway at 5:37 a.m. PDT, GMT-7, 8:37 a.m. EDT, when the Falcon 9's 9 Merlin 1D first stage engines ignited, quickly throttling up and generating 1.7 million pounds of thrust. An instant later, the booster was released from Pad 4E to begin its climb to space. Arcing away to the south over the Pacific Ocean, the first stage engines burned for about 2 minutes and 23 seconds to propel the vehicle out of the thick lower atmosphere. The engines then shut down, and the stage fell away to begin its descent to the drone ship. Just read the instructions. The second stage's single engine then ignited to continue the push to space. The first stage, meanwhile, fired 3 of its engines to help the booster reverse course, followed a few minutes later by another 3 engine firing to slow down for re-entry into the lower atmosphere. Two minutes after that, a single engine ignited as planned, 4 landing legs deployed, and the booster settled to a touchdown on the SpaceX drone ship. It was the 17th successful booster landing in 22 attempts, the 10th on a drone ship, and the 14th successful recovery in a row. Recovering the boosters is a key element in SpaceX founder Elon Musk's attempt to reduce launch costs by refurbishing and reflying major rocket components. About a minute and a half after the first stage landing, the Falcon 9's second stage engine shut down as planned. The vehicle was programmed to coast for the next 43 minutes before reigniting for a short 3-second burn to complete the launch phase of the mission, putting the vehicle in a circular 388-mile-high orbit. Five minutes later, the Iridium-Next satellites were expected to be released one at a time from a dispenser atop the second stage. Each satellite in the constellation is able to communicate with up to 4 others, one ahead, one behind and one to either side in adjacent orbital planes, to provide a global network that services handheld phones, machine-to-machine devices and ship and aircraft-borne data transmitters. Designed by the European aerospace giant Thales Alenia Space, and built by Orbital ATK in Arizona, each of the 1,896-pound solar-powered satellites features a phased array antenna that can generate 48 beams over a footprint 3,000 miles across. Each satellite also is equipped with high-speed links to ground stations, and the required satellite-to-satellite crosslinks that enable a globe-spanning communications network. The new spacecraft carry equipment provided by Harris Corps. To track ships at sea on a minute-by-minute basis, and another Harris-built device, provided by a multi-agency consortium known as Iridium, that can track aircraft anywhere in the world.